All right, good evening, everyone on Substack. Good evening to everyone on YouTube who migrated over to Substack, not just for me, but hopefully all the other good content over here. I'm doing a reading tonight called Fiending Readings, and this is about what I perceive as potential greater hypocrisy that could be coming from the Trump administration as with regard to the medications that we all need. Um, I think it would be the height of hypocrisy if the antidepressants or the benzodiazepines or the painkillers that we need or the statins or the injections, things like Euflexa, things for bones, were somehow considered forbidden or verboten once Bobby Kennedy comes to the forefront. They've touted this idea that on one hand, the country's getting sicker from all the, preservatives and everything that they eat. But the reality is we can't afford it. We can't afford to eat healthy. We don't have time working two or three jobs or have the energy to want to cook a whole meal and clean up. So I decided to make this video because since the height of hypocrisy seems to be a lot of about in the chicanery and all the lies and all the things they did to get into office and will continue to do to railroad us, surprise us. It's not to stoke fear. It's to see if, those medications that we need, whether it's clonazepam or anti-anxiety drugs, God knows we're at the height of that. And for all we know, everyone in that administration is on something right now. Including the leader himself, although who the leader is up for debate. So I wanted to just read with the Lenormand deck on the fortune of our health, on the likelihood that we were going to lose some of these medications that we need, or what Bobby Kennedy's directive is as part of being confirmed and having sold his soul out just to get a position. God of my angels, good evening. I come to you tonight with a question weighing heavily on my mind, my already frail, fragile mind that is susceptible to any kind of possible decline as a result of the anxiety, as a result of the tension and the things that have been with me from past that I can't leave behind. Right now, not even just our mental health that's on the line as a result of all the things that we've been witness to. Now there's a possibility too that things like statins, other medications, even our food supply might be in danger. And yet at the same time, we can't find out what's going to become of all the things that we want and all the things that we need to take care of ourselves just to get by. I need you to be candid with me, Spirit, and tell me tonight, are we going to be fiending for what it is we need to survive under 45 during his 47th term, his 47th presidency, excuse me, if you want to even call it that. So I'm going to use, as I said, this deck, which is a Lenormand deck. Okay, so there's loyalty coming out first. The star. In this particular instance, all the things that would come together or collect or gather or, in the celestial sense, I guess, reign over us. The coffin. So I'm taking this to mean as above, so below, sort of like in the tarot, but it's not supposed to be with the star. It's supposed to be sort of a more of a compass, or more of things that would connect, like a star. Then, of course, for a lot of people now, it's a Starlink card. But there is an ending here. The moon, the reputation, or if you will, perhaps the secrets, the stars. There's a lot of investigation, is what I'm hearing. They do want to put an end to some of these medications as far as distribution is concerned. In other words, the loyalty to me in this instance represents the frequency or the rapidity, not rapidity, the not even the frequency, the routine practice of taking medication to maintain your body's health, your mental health. And of course, if you notice, there's some connection here between the mental, with the moon coming on top of the dog, and the loyalty and the fidelity to taking care of your own mental health, right? And with that star on the other side, another celestial thing, this to me represents finding your way, going your way, your North Star, something like that. But it's also, as I said, things coming together, okay? But there's a threat to that loyalty with this ending. The rider. So I feel like in this particular instance, since the rider is about the message, and the message that RFK has been given by Trump, it is about this sort of Christian, or this sort of what's the term I'm looking for? Holistic. They're going to use holistic approaches, or want to tout holistic approaches, or some of the false or untested methods or untested products, and try to shove them down our throats as a way to not take prescription drugs, is what I'm getting. And even though the prescription drug lobby has such a force, I'm thinking that the thought process might be right now that, as part of this puritanical way of living, that these Christian evangelicals want to tout, anti-drug, anti-fentanyl, anti things that people do need. I mean, some people do need oxycodone. I see it coming down to things like benzos that I take so far, because people are going to think through spirit you can heal yourself. Yet, because this administration is the height of hypocrisy, and I've always heard from the beginning, let them eat cake, they'll continue to be on these medications, and they will be drugged up beyond recognition. But let's keep going. The scythe, okay, so something getting cut down, right? So that loyalty to ourselves, as this administration starts to come together, there's going to be an ending to the preservation of our own mental health, as led by the message. And I'm seeing this embodying, this man on this rider card embodying RFK Jr. And his loyalty, the loyalty or the preservation to Trump, will destroy what it is we're trying to do to protect our mental health. And the fact that the coffin card is on top doesn't bode well for this, but let me keep going. So with the ring, and I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. With the ring, I kind of think that loyalty, or that we got two loyalty cards in here. this one and this one. But the fact that one is circling the rider and the other one is below it, the fidelity or the endless loyalty to, I feel Bobby Kennedy is going to be loyal to Trump, and I believe the directive is going to be because it hurts us and he wants to kill us. And I'm sorry, but I'm not trying to be embellishing the situation, but I do not trust the agenda. And it doesn't even bear repeating. I think we know who's behind the agenda. And even if you know who, if someone else is behind the agenda for Trump, really what they want to do is make it so that we can't have what we need to live, to be successful. They want to kill us. We don't serve a purpose. They want to just raid the money, raid the systems, dismantle the FDA, dismantle every evidence of science, because of course, just as tarot and Lenormand is forbidden under their quote-unquote spiritual practices, science hasn't always augured well for them either, as far as something they embrace. So with Robert Kennedy leading the charge, clearly we're in trouble. And this can be the Crossroads card, can be the vote, it can be a decision. So they're going to make it a decision based on Bible and what's moral about our own mental health. Right, so the decision's going to come down to our mental health versus the heavens, right? And that the heavens and our faiths in God, and I'm taking that to mean that here, the star as above, so below, that if we connect to God and we connect to spirit, we can be healed mentally, okay? Also, the fact that the death of the loyalty to our having the free will to make the decision is also represented by that Crossroads card about our own health, right? Because this would knight to this card, but let's look at what this card is, the Garden. This, the Garden card to me, it represents the public. All right. So the death of the ability to make a decision to be loyal to your own health, right? The fidelity to your own well-being, right, is going to be annihilated by, and we've got the scythe around the dog and this, and our mental health right here, is going to be annihilated or threatened by the decision, right, made as a result of this sort of, and I'm taking the star to mean something almost biblical, of thou shalt not, it's part of the gluttony and the decadence that they don't want us to have, yet they want to bathe in it themselves. And they have this, I'm going to say it's like, I'm hearing thrill, kill, cult among some of these evangelicals that think that they're going to be going to heaven when the rapture comes. Even though they're a part of creating this environment in which we live now and making us more anxious, or in some ways exacerbating, with the messaging of the rider. This could also mean exciting or gaslighting, because a rider is just a messenger, but the messenger in this case is Bobby Kennedy, to make the decisions, right, that are going to impact or take away from our mental health. So I'm warning you guys that I kind of think that some of these medications might be banned. We might go into sort of a, and I don't, if this is any consolation to you, which it shouldn't, but I've tried alcohol in lieu of, well, before I hit the wall, I am an alcoholic. But alcohol just depresses you more. For some people, SSRIs don't agree with a lot of people. They have bad reactions to them. I am not taking anything away from R.F. Kennedy's assertion about that. But he's made some wild assertions that are just baseless. So let's keep going. But I don't have a really good feeling about some of these cards here, and what I'm seeing as far as our own mental health. It's going to be up to us to kind of survive this. Yeah, so the toxicity, the mice. I don't know if you can see that far, but yeah, you can't. So that was the last card. So I'm just telling you right now, you guys, beware of this, because it looks to me like it's going to happen. That some of these medications, if not a lot of them, are going to go bye-bye. I work in Medicare, and I know what they already cost. They will make them totally out of reach for most of us, if not all of us, and or verboten.